Good morning and welcome to Gospel Brunch. Super excited because this is our first episode, like episode number 1. Yesterday we shot a pilot, just kind of introducing what we're doing, what this is about. And for those of you guys that haven't seen that replay yet, this show is a vlog that is inspirational and motivational. It's a motivational, inspirational vlog that I'm starting up to just kind of talk about some things and kind of let you in on my processes and just kind of give you kind of a behind the scenes look at myself as an artist. For those of you guys that might be watching this replay and don't know who I am, my name is Gospel Lee. I make quality hip hop that your mom would be proud of. I am the most perfect picture of imperfection. And why I do all of this is because I want to bring light to dark places. So that's who I am. That's what I do. That's why I do it. And this is the Gospel Brunch, a sometimes morning show where it's motivational and inspirational, and we talk about different things. So the first thing that I want to talk about, usually the way we'll start this out is with a quote. I'll usually read a quote and then talk about it, what I think about it, what it means to me, why I wrote it, or why I think the author wrote it, and then we go from there. So this is the first piece of that, and the quote is, "Much of how far you go in life depends on what you believe you're capable of." Once again, the quote is, "Much of how far you go in life depends on what you believe you're capable of." And for me, this quote just rings so true. I look at so many people in my life that I look up to, or people that I aspire to be like, and all of them, they're all very different, but all of them decided that they wanted to do something great. They wanted to be great. And none of them, I think the common thread is none of them would have began their journey if they didn't believe that they could do it. I think that at the heart of wanting to do something great is the belief that you can actually do it. If you don't have that, then you're not getting started. Like nothing's going to happen. Nothing happens without that belief that you can actually do it. I look at somebody like Kanye West, and he has such a mixed reaction. Either you really like him or you really don't, which is another thing. If we can take a rabbit trail, I think that when you're making a difference and when you're really doing something of substance, like, it'll be very divisive. Like, you'll have people be like, "Oh, this is really great," or, "Oh man, this guy's horrible." And I think that that's a mark of true art and making a true impact, is I think that you definitely divide an audience. Anyway, so Kanye, whether you like him or you hate him, like, no one can tell him that he's not great, or he's not destined for greatness, or he's not doing great things. I feel like at his core, he's fueled by this belief that he can do whatever he's got in front of him. And I think that's a lesson we can learn from Kanye, is you can do whatever's in front of you if you believe that you can do it. Like that's the thing that fuels him and drives him, is this notion and this belief that I can do whatever I have in front of me, whatever is put on my heart or whatever's on my mind, I can do that. And to a lot of people's surprise, he's done a lot of crazy things, like jumping into the fashion industry. Now people pay hundreds of dollars for his shoes when they drop. As far as music, definitely very successful there, over 20 Grammys. So he's enjoyed a fair amount of success, a generous amount of success, but none of that success would come if he didn't first believe that he could achieve it. And so how that translates to me and how that translates to us is, much of how far we go in life is determined by what we think we're capable of. Like, there's a lot of things that people never do because they think that they'll never be any good at it. There's a lot of things that people never try, I should say, because they think, "Oh, I could never do that." Like, somebody sees somebody playing piano, like really masterfully, a classically trained pianist, something like that, and they say, "Oh, I could never do that." So they never try, even though they maybe want to play piano, or maybe they'd want to go, be a surfer or a marine biologist, whatever the case is. Their doubt and their self-doubt kind of cripples them and sabotages them and says, you could never be that good, or you could never do it on that level. And they never start. They never try. And so I think that you have to really believe in yourself and what you're capable of. If you're going to do anything great or anything of substance, you've got to really believe that you can do it in the first place. Like nothing happens without that belief, like, I think I could really do this. Like if I apply myself, I think I could really do this. Maybe not world class, but I think I could be proficient. Not everybody can be Michael Phelps, but you could be a proficient swimmer. But I think that really comes back to, what do you want to get out of this? Like assessing your goals. Like, I want to try this, and my goal and my hope is to be this or do that. And I think that it's important to set realistic expectations. But at the same time, you've got to balance that, I believe, with getting rid of that self-doubt. And I think this is what this is all about, is just self-doubt. Self-doubt cripples us, and it turns us into a shade or a portion of what we could have been. And so that's kind of just my thoughts behind the quote. I'd love to know. Great question, Andrew. What about God's will? What if God is against my own goal? I think that if you're a Christian, that's a great question. If you're a Christian, and that also brings me into another segment. This is just kind of fast forward. This is Thursday, so this is Q&A Thursday. So if you have questions, feel free to ask. But this question. So what about God's will? What if God is against my own goal? I think that if you're a Christian, you're living your life, if this makes sense, you're living your life with open palms, which means that anything that God places in your lap or in your hands, you're not holding on to it, but you're leaving it open, saying, okay, God, this is what I want to do, and this is my ambition, and these are my goals, but if you want to change them, then I'm okay with that. So I think that what happens is you pursue things, and you pursue your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, but more than those things that you're pursuing God more than those things. So if God says, hey, I need to flip this around, I need to take this away, or I need to do this, I need you to do this differently, or whatever the case is, you're totally okay with that, because you realize that your number one goal and your number one aspiration is being the best Christ follower that you can, and having the best relationship with God that you can. And sometimes what that often means is that your dreams and your goals and your aspirations are continually before the Lord for him to do with as he wishes. And then also, as you're pursuing God, more of your goals turn into his goals, because you start seeing things like he sees them. You start thinking like he thinks. So it's almost like a process, like over time, your goals kind of become his goals, or his goals become your goals, I should say. So hopefully that answers your question. Like I said, this is a daily segment, so we're going to move right into the daily segment. And the daily segment is basically, each day is going to be a themed around whatever day it is. So today is Thursday, so this is Q&A Thursday. So if you guys have any questions, I'm going to answer questions live. But it's all live, but I'm going to answer all your questions that you have. So feel free to ask questions. Thank you guys for tuning in. Feel free to ask questions. I'm going to answer them right here and on the spot. Nothing is off the table. Whether it's advice or questions about myself as an artist, or just kind of whatever, or wisdom, whatever the case is. Not that I can't say, oh, I have wisdom, so I'm going to help you out. But I have lived a little while and learned some lessons along the way that I could hopefully lean on to maybe help you answer any questions. So this is the question and answer portion of the broadcast, and so feel free to ask questions. Andrew, thank you so much for your questions. Very, very very great question, and I was glad to answer it. So this is the, like I said, question and answer portion. So feel free to ask questions, and then we will go on to the next segment. But this is the Q&A Thursday portion of the broadcast. So feel free to ask questions. Some of the questions that I've been asked have been really, really great. I'm thinking about questions that I've been asked in the past that have really, really stumped me. Not stumped me, but just kind of like, when I was asked a question, I'm like, man, that's a really good question. So one of the questions that I've been asked is, hey, what do you find the biggest issue in Christian youth? Okay, well, what do I find? Okay, so what do you find to be the biggest issue in Christian youth? I think that when I'm looking at youth, I think that the biggest issue in Christian youth is the biggest issue, I think, in youth in general. And from what I can see, the biggest issue is, I think, a need for real connection and a need for substance. Because I feel like, not just youth, but especially youth, but I feel like a lot of us, like, we're really, really immersed in our technology. Like, technology's brought us closer together, and the fact that I can even do this broadcast and it can go, out across the world. Like, technology's brought us really close together, but it's also really kind of crippled our ability to connect with a person standing in front of us. And everything is so screen oriented. And so I think that a big issue for youth, but not only youth, but everybody, is just that desire and need to connect with people in real time. Like, we don't know how to do that because we're so dependent on technology. Yeah, I think that's a big issue for everyone. Learning how to power down. Like, we look at screens all up until we go to bed, and then we wake up, that's the first thing that we check, and just being able to unplug. So I guess being able to unplug and just like connect in a real, genuine, and wholesome way, that's a big issue for everyone. But I think that you can see it's most prevalent with the youth, because I think they're out of everybody, they're the ones that are on the phone the most, on the screen the most, just doing the most as far as like watching, and streaming and listening and all that kind of stuff. So that's not bad necessarily, but it becomes bad when we are crippled in learning how to communicate with people, and we don't know how to, or we have a really hard time disconnecting and just unplugging. So because I don't know that we were designed to be so screen oriented. I think we were designed for relationship, and so I feel like screens have in some ways taken the place of relationship, or screens have in some ways kind of distorted the way that we relate to one another. So I think that I think that that's a big thing. And then also just I think the real need for substance, for something that I don't want to say isn't fake, but for something that will fulfill us. Because you go to a movie, or and it's really awesome, or you go and buy this thing that you've been saving up for, and it's really great, but after a while that wears off, and you're like left wanting more. You're left looking and hungering for something more. So I think that that's a big problem as well, is like all of these things that we use to fulfill us are temporary substitutes, and we're still left wanting something more than what we've consumed, or what we've bought, or what we've listened to, or what we've eaten, I guess. And so I think those are the two biggest things. I don't really segment people out like Christian youth and youth. I just look at youth altogether, because I feel like the needs that they have are the needs of everybody else in the group. And the needs that everybody else in the group, whether it be youth, I think they're reflecting. You can see them among other age groups as well. It's just I hang out with youth a lot, so being a rapper and that kind of thing, so I see it a lot. Yay, George. Okay, so George just popped in. He said, I agree. Another thing about screens is it does not allow for deeper conversations. They are quick fixes for connecting entertainment. So true. So let's talk about this right quick. Screens, like, okay, so for example, I'm really not on Facebook a whole lot. Like, this will probably be as much as I am on Facebook, because Facebook has become this place where it's just a place where people just argue. I mean, it doesn't have to be that, but like a lot of it is either we're arguing, or we're like trying to show off and market how great our life is. Not just Facebook, but like, Instagram and all these things. Like, it's like we're trying to show off like how great our life is, or we're like arguing, and there's like no like deeper conversation. So if I disagree with you, and it's online, there's no like, we're not going to come to an understanding. I'm just going to say something, you're going to say something back, I'm going to say something, you're going to say something back, and it's like we've lost the art of being able to have a conversation and like just disagree with people, like lovingly and respectfully disagree with people. And so screens have kind of taken that ability away, and now we have to kind of recultivate that. So now if I have a disagreement with somebody, or if I have a disagreement with something that somebody posted that I'm in relationship with, or maybe that I serve with at church, or whatever the case is, and like I approach them outside of the internet, like they get all freaked out, like, hey, I don't know, like they don't know what to do. And I'm just like, I just wanted to talk to you, like, what did you mean by that? Or where did that come from? Or what made you think that, this was okay to post, or whatever? Like, when I'm asking these questions, I'm not like real super confrontational, but they're like, they don't know what to do, because they're not used to that type of confrontation. They're used to doing it online. I feel like people say a lot of stuff online that they would never say in person. And so yeah, I think, thank you so much for chiming in on that. But I think that screens have really kind of crippled and paralyzed us when it comes to real conversations. So yes, I'm gonna maybe take one more question and then move on, because we've got other stuff. We've got other stuff going on that I want to get to before we get out of here. I think that I'm going to try to make the broadcast right around 25 to 30 minutes, because I think that's a good amount of time, and that's just kind of where we're at. This is episode number 1. It's actually episode number 2 because we had a pilot yesterday. So this is episode number 1, and we're still kind of just, as you can see, just kind of feeling the way out and just kind of going, just figuring out how to, make this better. So we're learning as we go. I'm in this for 100 days at least, so I'm going to give this 100 attempts, and hopefully I'm excited that my 100th broadcast and vlog will be better than the first one and the second one. So yes. Okay, last question. Would you agree that the internet allows for more reach in terms of preaching? I think that when it comes to, I would say yes. I think that if you believe in a message so strongly, like, as Christianity, I think that a message like that, that's so important, you have to leverage every single aspect of technology to get that message out. So yeah, I would agree that the internet allows for that. I would agree that the internet has made the gospel more accessible. You have people that live in remote countries or villages or whatever, and they can, look up, any sermon or whatever via YouTube. Like, they have the Bible app where you can just read the Bible like on your phone. So I think that not just the internet, but the technology has increased the reach for, Christianity and people to be able to spread messages and connect. So I would agree that technology has really kind of helped. And I think that, like I said, if you have a message and you want to get it out to people, you have to use and leverage every piece of technology every way that you can, because you want to reach as many people as possible. And the internet has made that possible. Case in point, this Gospel Brunch live stream. I'm going to start calling it a broadcast/blog or vlog. Broadcast vlog. Yes, because it's here broadcasted, and then on YouTube it'll be a vlog. So anyway, case in point with this broadcast vlog, I'm able to potentially reach a bunch of people just sitting here in this undisclosed location, just talking about stuff, things that I think are important, trying to inspire and motivate and encourage people. So I would say that the internet has made it easier to get your message out there and your point across. And some people are using that for good, and other people are not using it for good. And that's just kind of the nature of what it is. So you kind of have to, be careful what you listen to, I guess. So yes. All right. So daily segment is over. Q&A Thursday. As I mentioned yesterday, not only am I doing this broadcast vlog for 100 days, I'm also writing verses for 100 days. So I wrote yesterday, and when I was looking at my journal, my verses journal, I guess, rap journal. I call it rap journal. I call it raps and writings. I don't know if you can see that. I don't even know if it's backwards or not. But anyway, I was looking in it, and I really liked the verse that I wrote, the last verse that I wrote. It was on 8/11, which I'm kind of embarrassed to say because I need to be writing every day. So anyway, I'm going to read it. I think I'm actually going to read it because I like it more than what I wrote yesterday. But this is what I wrote yesterday. It says, I can't abandon it. It's a part of me. Somehow I'm numb and cold without it, like a heart without an artery. It's a scrimmage with my image. It's like me. It's like I spar with me. Medicate with pen and pad. It's my pharmacy. So, I guess when I was writing this, I was just thinking about, what I do as far as, making quality hip hop that your mom would be proud of, and just writing raps as well. And not just that, but just the deeper element of expressing myself through pen and paper. And I can't really get away from it. Like if I'm feeling something very intensely, like I instantly think about it in like rap lyrics or verses, or like, it really gets poetic. Like I think about my feelings, or my emotions go really poetic very quickly. And so at the end of the day, I try to capture that moment where I was feeling what I was feeling and get it into paper and like really get it out. And so that's something that's always been with me. And even if I don't do it every day, like I'm thinking about it. And for me right now, I'm just trying to work from thinking about it to actually getting it out there, because through getting it out there, I feel like I'm getting better on how to communicate what I'm feeling. And the better I get at communicating how I feel and what I'm feeling, I feel the more that people will relate to how I'm feeling and what I'm feeling. So when I'm writing, I can't abandon it. It's a part of me. Like, it's literally a part of me. Like, it's just the way that I'm wired. I really enjoy lyrically expressing myself, whether it's on the pad or, up here, but I'm trying to, like I said, get it on the pad. And then, yeah, I feel like it helps me feel and process what's going on. And that's what I wrote, somehow I'm numb and cold without it, like a heart without an artery. So when I'm able to think and process, and capture how I'm feeling like this in this way, if I don't do it that way, it's like I'm not feeling as deep as I could or should. And so I think it's a scrimmage with my image. It's like I spar with me. I think for me, what that means is I'm like wrestling on how to really get this out in the best way. I'm wrestling with the writing that I did the day before. I'm wrestling with the artist that I was the day before and trying to like beat him and be better. And I think that that's a really big thing for me. And, when it comes to artistry, is like, I'm not trying to be better than anybody else. I'm not trying to rap better or do anything better than anybody else. I'm just trying to like be myself, like be better than I was yesterday. It says medicate with pen and pad. It's my pharmacy. So like, I really do use this as a form of therapy. There's a lot of raps that I write that I don't write like for other people. I just write it for me. It's almost like, David in the Bible, like some of those Psalms he wrote, I don't know that he was thinking like, hey, this is going to be in a book and millions of people are going to read this. Like, he was just like, God, like, I'm really upset and you need to come down here and kill all these people before I do. Like, he was like for real, like upset. And so there's a lot of raps that I write like that, where it's not for other people. Like, it's really not for other people. It's for me. It's for me to say this here in this book so I don't get on Facebook and rant. It's for me to say this in here in this book so I don't like run up on somebody and like, really confront them and tell them what I really think and feel. So writing does that for me. It's like a vault. It's like a therapist. It's like a pharmacy where I can write this, put it in the book, and be done with it. Like, once I get it out onto the paper, like, I feel like it's out of me and I'll have to carry it around. And I feel like a lot of people, like, they don't have that. They just like carry it with them and then they jump on Facebook and rant, or they have like an attitude with everybody because they're carrying around so much. So for me, it's like a release. It's like, okay, this is how I feel. This is what I'm going through. This is what I'm struggling with. And let me put it out. Let me just put it out. And some of the stuff I do share because I feel like I'm going through this, so I know other people are. I know it's going to help somebody. So yeah, I put a lot of this stuff, like, just there's a bunch of stuff that, let me see if I can find some stuff. There's a bunch of stuff that I write that like nobody will ever see. Like, I just have random sheets of paper where it's just like I'm just writing all this stuff. Yeah, like this is stuff that don't try to zoom in, but like, it's just, there's stuff that nobody will ever see. And so yeah, comments here. Album suggestion: Modern Day Psalms. That's a good title. Almost like therapy session, exactly like therapy session, except I am not him. So yeah, so that's the daily writing portion. Just a place where I break down what I've written in the past, whether it's yet the day before or another date, and just kind of explain it out. And yeah, that's the end of our show. I think we're coming to the end. Like I said, we're going to try to have it between 25 and 30 minutes. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask, since it is Q&A Thursday. We're going to try to keep it short and just kind of, give you some content. Hopefully you were encouraged or inspired, or it made you think, or you agreed with some of it, or you disagreed with some of it. If it did anything to you, or if you got anything out of it, I should say, the greatest thing in the world would be if you would share this broadcast and subscribe to the YouTube channel, because both of those things would be absolutely amazing. So like I said, if you got anything out of this, I would love it if you would share and maybe even talk about what you got out of it on your Facebook to your friends and your mother and the person that collects your mail, if you're friends with that person on Facebook. Anyway, so I would absolutely love it if you would do that. And then also, if you are on YouTube, you can subscribe. There's a little button that will appear right here. and it'll just click on it and you're subscribed. It's great. Like, you don't have to think about it. So that will do it for the first episode. Oh my gosh, like, first episode, we've got 2 episodes down, 98 to go. And so I'm so excited. It's going to be a lot of fun to get into this. Starting college student, this helped me a lot. I'm glad it helped you, Andrew. Feel free to share with your friends and your college dorm roommate and your professors, the lady who does administration. Feel free to share with all of them. Anyway, super excited for the other episodes that are coming. We have got a segment tomorrow for Friday that I'm really excited about. I'm really excited about tomorrow, so feel free to tune in tomorrow because it's going to be great. And then Monday, okay, so I think either Monday or Tuesday we are dropping a bomb, like a bomb. And I'm excited to share it with you. I've been holding it in for so long, and I'm super excited to share with you. We are dropping a bomb early next week, and you are going to want to catch the broadcast, watch the vlog, or catch the replay because it is going down next week. Crazy segment tomorrow, crazy segments going on next week. I cannot wait to share them with you. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you have found any value in this, I would love it if you would share it with your friends and family and postal workers, or subscribe to the YouTube channel. So yes, you guys take care, and I will see you. I'm so excited. I will see you guys tomorrow. Like, we're doing a thing, and it's every weekday, right? So like, oh man, it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun. I cannot wait. And it's going to get better. It's going to get a lot better. I feel like we're kind of just finding our way and just, finding the groove. But once we hit that groove, we are on the way. So anyway, I appreciate you guys so much. I'm gonna do my thing. You guys have a great day. Have a wonderful day. Remember that you're created to be great, and you're created to do great things. So understand that and get to work. All right.